Liverpool Stadium, and we're here on behalf of the Anfield Wrap and in association with NordVPN to do post-match pint for you after Arne Slot's first game in front of the public as Liverpool manager. I've got John Gibbons, I've got Craig Hannan. The stadium is empty in behind us. The match has just finished. And John, let's just sort of get stuck right into it. Trey Naoni's a footballer, isn't he?
He's confident, and the manager's obviously got confidence in him. I asked the question at the press conference yesterday. I mean, who knows what days are when you're on these trips, but I said to him on the press conference is anyone surprised? Yeah. And he said, well, not really the first team, because you know a lot about these type of players and they're a Liverpool for a reason. But he said a couple of the young players have named their own names, and I thought, I bet he means Trey Naoni. And then Curtis Jones got injured, which is crap for him and rubbish for Liverpool, but he throws him on, and I thought the easiest thing, or the most obvious thing, would have put Bachas on.
Yeah,
but he
or
goes,
Tyler Morton.
Yeah, exactly. Who've both played more games for Liverpool, but he puts Trey on, and Trey's he just looks like a Rolls Royce.
He does look like a Rolls Royce, and I think he almost answers John's question, naming some names on the 30th minute there.
He names his own name.
He names the name at that point in time. Naoni then names the name as well. It is such an impressive, such a mature performance. That's one of the things I took from it as well. It wasn't just the idea he's got to get on, he's got to enjoy himself. To me, he just sort of looks like, yeah, I play for Liverpool, this is what I do.
Yeah, it was interesting him playing in the two, like almost like a double pivot with one ahead of him. I thought he was more of a forward player, and then anything you've seen in any of the pre-season videos from training and obviously in the game today, he's a midfielder. He's classy, isn't he? I think he's what they call press resistant, Neil.
Definitely.
There were moments where it looks as if he's in trouble, but he just drops the shoulder and takes it by, and it just looks effortless. And you don't want to big a 17-year-old, is he?
Yeah,
17-year-old just turned 17. You don't want to big him up too much and compare him to people, but then I'm also going to do it because I'm a fan and get carried away. But there was moments where you're looking at him driving forward and you're like, well, that's Yaya Toure. And there's moments where at the drop of the shoulder, and that's what Thiago used to do for Liverpool. Like, that's pre-season friendly, and I am getting carried away. But
I'm enjoying it, though. I'm enjoying it.
It's really exciting, particularly in the absence of signings. Whenever you've got someone that you haven't got to watch before, and suddenly they look every inch the Liverpool player with so much potential. What were we going to say?
No, I was just going to say, but like, they were made up when they got him. So they got him at 15, and they were delighted. They were like really thought like they got him. And then from what I've heard, once he was here, they realised he was even better than what they thought they were. And so they went from made up to being like, wow, he's even better than we thought he was, and we were delighted to get him. And so he's very, very, very highly thought of, and has been sort of throughout really. And you'd understand why he didn't maybe get more opportunities last season, but this year, new manager, he's obviously had a look at him and really, really liked what he's seen. But that's not like just Arne Slot, but like throughout the club, do you think he's fucking mustard?
I'd love to know whether they put him on because he's playing alongside Endo, and they wouldn't have wanted to put on, say, Bachas because he's a little bit more defensive minded, and then you've got two of them. I wonder whether it's that or whether it's just like us, they're just really, really excited about him. But either way, it was a brilliant performance. It was the one that really, really stood out and one to get really excited about, particularly over the next two games, getting to see more of this young player.
Yeah, absolutely. On a slot behind us, nice excitement, nice little bits of noises as well. The question then becomes, Craig, about what is different, and Slot's just sort of walked behind us, and one of the things that sort of struck me was, if you were to name the shape, I'd almost call it 4-2-4-0. It was, that idea that there's definitely a back four, there's then two who do sit in front, and then it looked to me a little bit like, almost like in a bit of a 10 position to the left. Elliott was playing in a bit of a 10 position to the right, so Bosley was playing, and Salah and Carvalho were both playing, but they weren't quite playing anywhere near as advanced. Salah was a little bit more advanced, but not as advanced as you've seen, and so it was almost like Liverpool didn't have anyone playing up front for an extended period, but they had a lot going on in the middle of the park. It's only one game with these players, and I think that because we've had nothing to go on, we don't want to go too far too early. Well, this is what it's going to be. I don't think that's the case at all. But it is interesting. That was something that was different, that was distinctive. You very rarely see Elliott under Klopp play to the left-hand side, for instance, and it was two in front of the back four as well. No matter what he said when in his first press conference, it looked to me like a real proper two in front of the back four.
It was massively, yeah, of course it was. He likes his wingers high and wide, doesn't he? It's proper chalking about his wingers.
Yeah, very wide.
I was down just behind the goal, and so it was very, very difficult in the first half to sort of. I was like watching. I was like, what the fuck's going on here? I couldn't work out whether it was like two false nines or what it was, but if I was watching it and I was like, this is a strange one. Whenever we've got someone like Darwin Núñez to come back, because like, how does he fit into something like this? Like, it felt as if there wasn't really a vocal point. But then, Szoboszlai, who I thought was sharp throughout, pops up, gets a goal. I thought at different times Harvey Elliott was quite quiet. But you see what he's asking the fullbacks to do. He wants fullbacks to overlap. He wants the wingers to be high and wide.
Though.
Yeah,
he goes out to go either way, either side.
It was just quite exciting seeing the differences and how it is. He's been a manager that so far has talked about how things are going to be pretty much the same and it's going to be very similar, and this is why he's been brought in. It didn't look similar at all. Yeah, I'll be interested to see, because he did exactly the same thing as well with the young players coming on. I think
Blair,
had a look at
Blair was a bit more centre forward.
Blair was a bit more centre forward. He was a bit more centre forward, I thought.
He had a little look at Carvalho in there at the beginning of the half as well.
Yeah, it was different. As I say, you don't want to get too carried away, John. You don't want to act as like, oh well, this is it solved now, and this is what we're going to do. I don't think that's the case necessarily, but that to me was the way in which it worked, and it was different in those regards.
Yeah, like you say, Neil, if he was there now, we might say, well, I didn't have a centre forward. So if I'd have had a centre forward, I'd have picked a centre forward. I need to play centre forward. I think there's maybe just a bit of him going, well, what have I got, and how can I make the most of it? And that's not to say it wasn't an interesting solution, because it was. And I don't think Jurgen Klopp, for example, who was the last manager, would have picked that solution to his problem and not having a centre forward. But it was interesting, and you don't want to look too much into it, because, like I say, what he's got Darwin Núñez, what he's got Diogo Jota, he'll probably do something sort of very different. Even a Cody Gakpo or something he might have sort of played up there, but for what he did, I don't think I've ever seen before. It was almost like a double false nine.
Yeah,
it was crazy, really, and I was like, it's supposed to like playing up front, but I don't think he necessarily was, because he was then sort of dropping in, and it seemed to be between him and Harvey Elliott who he was sort of doing it. But listen, the intelligent footballers and the good footballers, and he's obviously backed them to do what he needs them to do, in this game, and it was about minutes in the legs, and it was about understanding. And I thought that was a nice thing, where you could see a little bit of understanding, on the pitch. The goal's a really nice goal, and it's Mo Salah feeding Szoboszlai, and they seem to have a close relationship off the pitch, which I didn't necessarily realise. But from being out on the tour, you see the two of them a lot together, and then it was interesting. You saw a link up for the goal. They seem to be, two players who get on and have that understanding on, taking that onto the pitch. I thought they did that. It's a nice move, and it's a nice goal. There's not tons of quality, in the game, but I thought they did well for that. But also how they linked up. I thought Bradley on the right was linking up really well, and I thought he was often the spare man and the extra man, and they were feeling him at the right times, if that made sense. They were like, really, how they released him in the ball worked well for him, and the runs that he was making, and that was nice to see too.
I thought there was a snappiness through the midfield play. The one I think sort of almost struggled with that a little bit of times.
I know what you're going to say here.
Go on.
Endo.
Yep.
Yeah. I thought at times he looked vulnerable. You'd automatically assume that if he's got someone in beside him and it's two in front of the defence, that you've got someone there to help him, that it would be more helpful for him. And actually, I was watching it. There was times where he was slow to the ball, or they were stealing it off him. There was one just right there in the box, and thankfully they don't score, but he just looked a little bit off the pace, and like I say, you don't know what sort of training they're going through in terms of whether.
I was going to say, they might have trained today and maybe his legs just felt a bit heavy.
They're talking about double sessions in the same way. I was speaking to someone and they were saying, like, one of the things they've really noticed is, like, and it's very easy to say when a new manager comes in, but they're like, he's putting them through their paces in training at the moment. And we've always thought of Jurgen Klopp and Pep Linders as this, like, intensity being their identity, but this manager, that seems to be the one similarity. So you don't know, you don't want to sort of look, it could be down to the amount of training, but I thought he was the one that I was maybe looking at and going, then Curtis Jones alongside him and really got it for him. That was like the one point in the game, because obviously the main thing about this is minutes in the legs, it's getting through it and no injuries, and he's the one player that, given the press conference the other day, the way the confidence he was exuding and the way he was talking, I was like, yes, this is going to be a really, really exciting start of the season. You hope that's not too, you hope it's just a niggle, and he was playing it safe.
We're here with the Anfield Wrap. to do post-match pints, put that out for free. I'm putting it out for free because of our friends at NordVPN. If you go to nordvpn.com/TAW, there you can get, well done Neil. There you can get the idea of being able to sign up, being able to get a 30-day guarantee, money-back guarantee on it as well, and 4 months for free at the moment if you sign up. We're over in the United States, where obviously something like that's hugely useful at all times when you're going into a different country, both useful from the point of view of being able to enjoy television and so on and so forth, but also knowing that you've got that security that you need these days when you use the VPNs in order to good God, when you use a VPN in order to in order to be able to have certainty in terms of all of your internet and online dealing, using unfamiliar Wi-Fi and so on and so forth. It's a holiday season, so wherever it is you're going at the minute, do consider signing up to NordVPN. It is nordvpn.com/TAW in order to be able to do that. We'll sort of begin to sum this up a little bit. We're going to put the Pink, the audio show, out for free as well, and that'll be a slightly more relaxed conversation, getting into a couple more of the intricacies in terms of what we got to see. But just as another bit of raw excitement, I enjoyed Ben Doak. You just sort of worry that pre-season's his time, John, but he loves standing the full-back up and going at him, and Liverpool nearly get a second goal from it.
He was being his man for fun, wasn't he?
He just has him, doesn't he, all game,
He's confident. And where you'd maybe, if you want to be a bit critical, it's like, well, where's the end product after that? But then he'd probably say, well, I wouldn't mind a centre forward either. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not just on a slot. He'd like to play with the number 9. Maybe I like one as well. I'm not quite sure what's going on there.
There he is. He's over
Slot's
there.
coming back. Do you think he's done his press conference?
He might
maybe
well
he'll come and join us. Do you think he'll join us? I'll give him a wave.
I don't think he will, but go on.
I'll try and get him over. He absolutely will not come. But where you maybe go, well, where was the killer ball after that? But he was being his man. He was being his man so well, and it was sort of great to see. And so I really liked him. I really like Septa van der Berg. I think he's. Yeah. I thought he was really good, and I think he's, especially on the ball. We didn't see tons of defending from him, but
a couple of little touches, yeah.
I think he's excellent on the ball, and when they're saying they want 15 to 20 million pound for him, and you're a bit like, come on. And he looks like a 15 to 20 million pound player. And
I think someone might even be getting a bit of a bargain.
Yeah,
I thought he was really impressive,
and he also looks like a guy who I think if they didn't get that, they'd be quite happy to sort of stick around. And so that's sort of the situation. Let me try and wave him. I've had the bevy. Let me try. Come on, Arnie! Come on! He laughed. He did not come, but he laughed. We'll take that. Yeah, we tried.
You tried your best.
Was he laughing at us or with us? I think it was with.
I like to think it was with. As you go all the way through, didn't really get to get much of a sense of what Beck was about over the course of the game. Just the ball wasn't sort of going that way, and then that was time to time with a younger player as well.
The final 30 was the most pre-season of pre-season games, wasn't it? And that's where it becomes difficult.
But the keeper makes a good save. The second keeper makes a good save, Jaros.
He looked really confident.
What's really interesting?
Very confident.
Me and Josh were at a tournament for when he was, I think it was under 15s or something in Stuttgart. Do you remember this? In 2019, and Jaros was the goalkeeper. And I think he was one of the players of the tournament. But anyway, he looked good. I thought Kwanzaa first half was great. I was very interested to see Tyler Morton come back.
A couple of very good tackles.
Really, really, really good. Tenacious in there. Like the look of him again. Again, he's a footballer that they're wanting 20 million for, and they maybe might not get that, but it's not far off that. He looks really, really good. Obviously, had a great season last season.
Man of the match.
Come on, what a silly question, Leone. I think he was just so. It was just so exciting watching him because in the absence of having no transfers and given the fact that he's so young, he just come on and he looked beyond his years. He looked just so classy, and he's my kind of footballer, Neil. I'm excited.
John Moncur?
I'll go with Szoboszlai. He won the game. It was a classy finish, and
it was a really good finish.
And I thought I liked his intensity. I thought he was pressing a little bit more than everyone else. He looked like he was putting himself about more. I liked his performance, and he won the game, the massive game at the Acrisure Stadium.
It doesn't get bigger than the Acrisure Stadium.
Absolutely. Here we are. It was a great view across the city, wasn't it? I mean, Pittsburgh. We love Pittsburgh, but it's. There was quite a few here in the end, wasn't there? 43,000. I think they were a little bit worried at one point, and they said we'll probably get to 40. It was 43,000 people in there. It's a big stadium, so it looked a little bit less. But I think they got like a decent game of football, some good performances. But I was sat over there, like Craig come and join me for the second half, and looking across the city. It's a good place to watch any sport.
It is indeed a good place to watch any sport. It's been a pleasure. If you're in Pittsburgh, from Pittsburgh, we've loved Pittsburgh. We genuinely have. The Anfield Wrap is so pro Pittsburgh. It's hard to put it into words. What a cracking place. We'll see you later on. they're shutting it down around us, and they're more than entitled to
We've
do so.
gotta
See you
go.
later on. We've got to go. Put the chairs on the tables. We'll see you later on.
Bring your digital life to a whole new level with NordVPN. Choose the fastest VPN on the planet and explore the internet without interruption.